Hello friends, brothers and sisters. I just wanted to share something with you that occurred to me while I was in the ministry today. As I travelled from one place to another. I'm going to read it because I wrote it out. It's called Putting Things Together. As I walked to the ministry territory this morning, I was glad to be in a much milder spell with a little wind and only the odd spot of rain. After the last couple of weeks with very cold temperatures, it was a joy to be out, and beside my personal comfort, I was happy in the knowledge that people are much more likely to chat at the door on a morning like that. Soon I was passing one of the schools near our home, and the rooks calling caught my attention. There in the trees around the school there was nest construction taking place. Rooks are noisy birds nested in colonies high in tall trees and building nests that are able to withstand storms. This is early March, but they will begin to build in late February. I was so glad to take a couple of minutes to watch them at work. That's the bird we're talking about. That's a rook. Later, after some first calls with memorial invites and where possible showing the video on the subject, I moved on to go to a call. As I neared the town centre, I passed another member of the corvid, that's crows, corvid family, at work nest building too. It was a magpie. Unlike rooks, they nest in isolation and build a nest with a domed roof. Again, I was intrigued. Those of you who know me know that I'm bird mad. But I never tire of watching them. Here is the question. Both rooks and magpies build a strong and somewhat complex nest. How do they know how to do that? If you or I tried to copy them, then we would probably be unable to, and if we made something looking vaguely similar to either of their nests, it would in all probability just fall apart in the first strong winds. But those of our crow family neighbours will still be there this time next year. Another question. How do they know it is time to build nests? I'm not looking for answers because I've got bird books by the score and there are wonderful websites for information as well. But in the end we're left with no reasonable explanation for the inbuilt wisdom of the rooks and magpies but that which the Bible explains. Proverbs 30 verse 24, it says, "But they are instinctively wise." Now that verse isn't about the crow family, but it is about the creatures that Jehovah has made. And when we see their exploits and their work, no other explanation really makes sense. That, by the way, is the other one I was watching. That's the magpie that we have here, although there are different types of magpies in different parts of the world. Some scientists and others seek to disprove this with theories and arguments, often speaking down to those that they consider uneducated. However, life itself and common sense are not the gift of intellectuals alone, but are in the grasp of all, or at least most of us. Two things that are relevant to me from recent experiences of an everyday nature. I was in a Coleraine coffee shop recently. As I sat sipping my Americano, I noticed some metal containers at the counter. In each bin, the cutlery was neatly placed to make life easier for the customers. Knives all in one bin. Forks, large and small spoons, again in separate bins. Now I didn't see any human hands place them there, but I'm sure that the staff didn't throw them from the washing up area in the kitchen and then they all landed by chance in the right category of bin for their kind. Someone who works in Harold's coffee shop placed them in those bins. The other experience was in a shop where I called with the owner to discuss the Bible. On my visit before last, she was a little upset because some items delivered to her were broken upon arrival. That was a pity. But even so, even though they were broken, we all know that those inanimate objects that arrived at the shop had a designer and a creator. Even broken human artifacts give evidence of some skillful design and creativity. One of the ironies of those who study the ancient past is that though they believe we just happened, many of them anyway, they find a piece of rock with a sharp edge and they insist that one of our ancient ancestors shaped it. They think that man, with his complex brain and other organs, came about by chance, but that a slightly knife or axe-like rock had to have a designer. Sorry folks. Earlier today I was researching some things for a call who is unsure about evolution or creation. I was using the wonderful book Is There a Creator Who Cares About You? Pages 45 to 48 discusses the truly remarkable interaction between proteins, DNA and RNA. How could any human agree that the cutlery and the claffy needed to be placed there by someone's hand, and yet the broken goods had to have a maker, and yet at the same time insist that this oh so wonderful process of DNA and its relationship with RNA and proteins is merely an accident of blind forces coming together by chance and producing all life on this planet in all its various kinds? Is that not so much more likely than the cutlery landing in the right bins in the coffee shop, or the broken human constructed objects just being a matter of chance? Of course it is. So back to the rooks and the magpies. Taking a few minutes to watch them at work is in effect taking a few minutes to admire the work of our Creator. That's Jehovah, of course. As we marvel at how these instinctively wise birds build a suitable home to rear young in, and in this very changeable climate too, keeping them warm and safe though high up in the trees, that's giving us a glimpse into the mind of the wonderful God we worship. When he produced each according to its kind, he allowed for surprising and exciting varieties within kinds. For instance, among the crows, the rooks in their high-rise tenement apartment nests are not very faithful to their partners. However, the ravens, another type of corvid, mate for life. They fly higher than the other corvids, and they seem to get pleasure, just pure pleasure, from performing aerobatics up there. All these birds of the crow family will successfully rear young in this area this spring, along with jays, jackdaws and carrion crows, all having crow-like similarities, yet each having distinct differences, including choice of nest sites and nesting materials. Doesn't it all fill us with awe at the wonder of it all? There is a quote I like. It's by poet Robert Brown, and he says, "God is the perfect poet who in his person acts his own creations." Now I'm not sure if he meant what I think he did, but surely just as we learn so much about Jehovah from all he's made and about his Son who was sent to save us from reading the Bible, so we should also learn about our God and his master worker as we take time to look in awe at all that he's made. Here we see his qualities on display in endless forms and expressions that delight the heart and feed the mind, firing and inspiring our own imaginations. In fact, his creation fires the creativity that he put in each of us when he made us in his image, as is testified through time in art, literature and music, all over the earth, in all cultures. Just how I saw how things are put together. Thinking aloud, I guess, again, my friends. Just wanted to share that with you. Hope it makes some sense to you. And thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Kate sends love with me to all of you, wherever you are, all over the earth. And isn't it great that we're all sharing in working for this great Creator, Jehovah, together. Bye for now, my friends. Bye-bye.